scene where it's like push, 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 and something like that.
Exactly.
Like, they're just like they don't fit with that whole like dark theme of the anime. It's like this light comedy that doesn't flow. It doesn't go with the rest of the show.
Yeah. So while this show by no means, we actually touched on a lot of dislikes, but at the same time,
they're all pretty minor.
Yeah.
And none of them were like dominated enough so that we didn't like the show.
Exactly. It wasn't something that. It wasn't like Blast Rider where it was just stupid dislikes. I mean, these are, okay, that they weren't. I mean, they're not so great, and we don't like them that much. But it doesn't detract that much from the enjoyment that the actual story, characters, and the animation brought towards the entire show.
It's more like our dislikes that we wouldn't want to see these become dominant in the future.
Exactly.
It's the first episode. They might throw them in a little bit. If they're not there throughout the entire series, or if they're very rare, none of these are that big of a problem.
We can deal with them, yeah.
And probably the final dislike was the a little disruption of the flow of the episode with like these weird cutscenes to like going back to showing the father character and like this Reaper guy.
Yeah, I didn't have so much of a problem with that, but at the same time, I understand what you're saying. Also, we want to talk about a little bit on the fan stuff. Rumble, they did a great job. Text was large enough. We watched it on a big screen, on a projector actually, so it was perfect. No problems there. Very little grammatical errors.
Right, they did a pretty good job with spelling, grammar, punctuation, everything.
Timing was well done. It was high quality, as we already mentioned. So yeah, great job by the Chancellor group.
So Rumble, that's definitely probably the group you want to download from.
Yeah. So in all though, good show.
Out of 10, I would probably give it an 8 or 9. It was actually really good, and that's hard to do. I think for a first episode of a series, it's hard to rate really high.
I don't think I'd give it a 9. I mean, I rate my average on my anime list is I don't know. I think like 7.8 or something like that. But I'd probably give it solid 8 right now. And I think that's very good. So definitely recommend it based off the first episode. But
looking forward to more from it.
All right.
And we're back with the third series that we watched for this episode. Episode 1 of Vampire Knight.
Yes, and I wouldn't say that it was as good as Soul Eater, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good show.
It was a solid improvement from Blast Rider.
Anything is an improvement from Blast Rider, though. Well, almost anything.
But yeah, it was enjoyable. Overall, we liked it. It wasn't great, but pretty good. Yeah,
I like the premise of. I'm not really sure why I like it because I'm sure it's not very original and there's tons of stuff that I've done. But the premise of you have humans in the day and then vampires at night that both go to the same school. I mean, it was kind of interesting.
We pretty much picked up this series because there were a good number of people watching it on Mal and vampire series, and I kind of like vampires.
Yeah, he's a big fan of vampires, like a book reader and vampire guy. We didn't write numbers on this. Crap. Okay, so next up, well, let's talk about the theme of the show, I guess. On how, I didn't pick up on the theme that much. He picked up on it better than I did, but the fact that they're apparently teaching vampires.
Or there's this weird thing going on where they're trying to train these vampires to live in the human society by following the human rules, and I sort of thought that had this weird correlation to maybe what religions used to do when they'd send out missionaries and try and teach the brutes to live in our way, and so our view of them was very low. We thought they were animals, and I think it's very similar to this show that the humans think of the vampires as animals. They feed on humans, and they're trying to teach them to live the way we do.
Do you think, I don't know, perhaps because this is an adaptation of a manga, do you think that's what they were going for, or do you think this kind of happened?
I don't know. That's hard to say. I don't like looking so deeply into a lot of things, especially books. It's well, did they mean it? Did they not mean it? I don't know. It's just something you could point out. It's similar.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. So, well, I think we should touch on the animation too, in that it wasn't scrappy. I don't think it was as nice or vibrant as Soul Eater, but leagues better than Blast Rider. I mean, they had the same
CG.
Yeah, no CG again. Thankfully, I liked that it has a very, very 2000 and up anime style to it. And you can tell the earlier shows, the pre-2000, so 90s shows and 80s shows, you can tell when you're watching that. But now you can tell when you're watching 2000 and up shows on like the style. So it's very, very modern style.
So it's not completely unique like Soul Eater was, but at least it's good quality.
Right,
so
right. No,
you can watch it and not be frustrated.
Exactly. I want to touch on, I didn't dislike this, but on how there was very, very kind of a shoujo atmosphere going on, especially in terms of the all female class except for the one male character,
In
Zero.
the day class, all the humans were all female.
And it's like, well, yeah, why? Is that just because, or they got something going on there? I'm not quite sure. And I'm not sure if I already said this, but Ouran High School Host Club, it just completely reminded me of that in how all the girls are like fawning over this one guy, or I guess it would be a few guys in this case. But I saw similarities in there. It's hard to point them out, but definitely some, I guess, that's the same feel.
So some of the characters, we'll move into the characters, I think, because there were a lot of characters that seemed to be pretty important in this series, or might be important later.
Actually, a lot. There were like 3.
I think there were like 4 or 5.
Okay.
But anyway, the ones that we'll mention was like the main female character, right, Yuki,
Right.
who was kind of the stereotypical like dumb girl.
Not that we're saying it was dumb. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of like, we write this on here, but she had like superpowers. I mean, she could like jump from trees and stuff, look really far up. It was like 20 feet, and she's like, that was nothing. I'm just powerful. And they're like, how? The other girl's like, how'd you do that? And she's like, oh, I just jumped. And
She ended up with a minor scratch like on her hand.
yeah,
but
which is random
that's
too.
about
It's
it.
like, oh, what a coincidence.
She fell like 30 feet or something and jumped down from a tree branch.
I'm not
really
sure,
high.
prediction if that ties in with it. She has like half vampire or something, but whatever. I have no idea. Zero, dumb name. Come on, think of something else now. We got plenty of zeros throughout all the anime shows that we're watching. We want to touch on his sense of ideals. And
So he was like the only male, I think, in the day class,
Right.
Who are supposedly human. But as Dark Reaper 70 mentioned on the Mal forums for the discussion of this episode, they sort of hinted at already, or maybe even just bluntly told you that he's a vampire also that has, or for whatever reason, is able to be out during the day.
right, because that
and-
shower scene where we see him like wanting to suck the blood of Yuki.
And he seems to take the pills that they showed as being for the vampires to
we
stop
saw
them from wanting
pouring
blood.
in the drink so that they have blood.
And we might, I think we agree with what Dark Reaper was saying, that it was too early to have given that away.
Yeah, I didn't check to see how many episodes there were, but if this is, I guess if it's a 12-episode series, we can probably see that working. But if it's 24, it's like, why did they have to show us so quick? But at the same time, I wouldn't want them to have added a stupid filler episodes. I hate filler episodes, so maybe it was necessary.
Right. I mean, a filler episode would be annoying, but some suspense or something being held back in mystery
it was
might have been
quick.
okay.
Kaname.
The last character we're going to mention is Kaname, who is the main vampire character for the night class. I guess there wasn't too much to say about him.
Not much to say about him.
He was
except,
pretty mysterious. You just know he's going to be important.
Yeah, you know, we're not sure why, obviously, but something's gonna happen where he's gonna be a bad guy. I think somehow maybe.
Right, he was the character I think that saved the main female in the very beginning when she was a child.
Right.
And so she still sort of like fawns over him or has feelings for him.
I'm betting you he saved her for some scheme that he has planned, though, because I'm sure it wasn't out of kindness, because he doesn't seem like that kind of character to me. Anyway, predictions for what... We have no predictions for anything else, but we thought it would be a great idea for this show, just because there's obviously a hint of romance going on, so...
It's easier to predict things with this series than with the others.
Right.
So.
My prediction, obviously, is... well, I guess not obviously, but... Zero and Yuki obviously equals sex. I mean, something is going to happen there just because they both hate each other, or they don't hate each other, but they're up in arms against each other. Yeah, I mean, something's got to happen there
between them, and yeah.